Picture a quiet, sun-dappled pond. Looks totally peaceful, right? You'd think it's perfectly still, but lurking just under the surface, hidden in that delicate greenery, is a predator. And it's a hunter so ridiculously fast, it makes other carnivorous plants look like they're moving in slow motion. So, let's play a little game. When you think of a plant predator, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The Venus flytrap, for sure. It's the poster child for plants that bite back. But what if I told you the real speed champion of the plant world is something way more common and a whole lot faster? And yeah, it's not even close. A Venus flytrap snaps shut in about 100 milliseconds. That's a tenth of a second, which is, really fast. But the bladderwort, it strikes in under 1 millisecond. That is over 100 times faster. The action is so quick that for centuries nobody could figure out how it worked until high-speed cameras could finally slow it down enough for us to see. So let's get properly introduced to this underwater speed demon. Because despite its terrifying efficiency, the bladderwort is super subtle. It's not some leafy monster, it's a quiet mastermind disguised as a simple little pond plant. Meet Utricularia. This is actually the biggest group of carnivorous plants on the planet, with more than 230 species found on every single continent except Antarctica. And these guys are specialists. They love living where other plants can't survive, in waters so low in nutrients like nitrogen that a normal plant would just starve. So what's their solution? If you can't get food from the soil, you hunt for it. And the bladderwort's entire body is built for this life on the edge. I mean, it completely throws the plant rulebook out the window. It doesn't have any true roots to suck up nutrients. Instead, it just has these thin branching runners that float around. Its so-called leaves are just these flimsy underwater threads. The real business end of this plant, its secret weapons, are the hundreds and hundreds of tiny bladders dotted all over its body. So, how do these little bladders actually work? To understand that, we've got to look at the anatomy of the trap itself and see how this incredible living vacuum is put together. The trap is called a utricle, which is just Latin for little bag. And honestly, that's what it looks like. But don't let the simple name fool you. This isn't just some pouch. It's one of the most sophisticated, highly evolved little machines in the entire plant kingdom. It's the plant's mouth, its stomach, and its engine, all rolled into one tiny package. Okay, so here's the blueprint. Each trap has this flexible little door that's sealed completely watertight with a kind of sticky goo. Sticking out from the door are a few sensitive trigger hairs. But, get this, they aren't nerves, they're just simple mechanical levers. Now, on the inside, special glands are working around the clock, pumping water out. This creates a powerful vacuum inside the bladder and causes its walls to get sucked inward, storing up a ton of elastic energy. It's literally like a loaded spring just waiting to pop. And that brings us to the hunt itself. What actually happens when some poor, unsuspecting water flea or mosquito larva happens to swim by? Well, what you're about to see is an absolute masterclass in biomechanics, and it all happens faster than, well, way faster than the blink of an eye. It all goes down in 4 lightning-fast steps. First up, priming. Those glands inside work for about 15 to 30 minutes, pumping water out to create that powerful vacuum. Step 2, the trigger. A tiny creature just barely brushes against one of those hairs. That's all it takes. The lever action breaks the watertight seal. 3, the strike. All that stored up energy is released in an instant. The door buckles inward, and the vacuum violently sucks in the surrounding water and the prey right along with it. And finally, reset. The door slams shut, the glands start pumping again, and the trap is ready for its next meal in less than half an hour. So, just how fast is this? The trapdoor snaps open in as little as 300 microseconds. Now, to put that in perspective, a human blink takes about 300 milliseconds. This trap is literally 1,000 times faster than you can blink. There is absolutely no time to escape. And the force involved is it's mind-boggling. The prey is sucked into that trap with an acceleration of up to 600 Gs. A highly trained fighter pilot can maybe handle 9 Gs before passing out. This tiny plant subjects its prey to forces that are almost impossible to imagine. Nothing gets away. So what's the secret to all this speed? Well, it's not a simple hinge. The door is actually a curved elastic shell. When it's triggered, it doesn't swing open. It buckles. It snaps from curving outwards to curving inwards, almost exactly like one of those little rubber popper toys you'd flip inside out and watch jump. That snap-through buckling is the brilliant bit of physics that allows for such an explosive release of energy. But just when you think you've got this plant figured out as a lean, mean hunting machine,
The story gets even weirder. It turns out the trap isn't just a deadly weapon, it's also something else entirely. Something that really changes how we think about carnivorous plants.
See, when scientists took a close look inside the traps of one species, they found something they totally didn't expect. They figured they'd find a bunch of tiny animals, right? And they did. But that was only about 15% of what was in there. A whopping 80% of the contents was algae. So what in the world is going on? Why would a plant designed for hunting spend all this energy trapping other plants? The answer is just brilliant. The trap isn't just a stomach, it's a farm. The bladderwort is literally cultivating a miniature, thriving ecosystem inside every single one of its traps. Here's how it works. The plant is an active host to a whole community of bacteria, fungi, and algae that live inside the traps. It even feeds this little microbiome with carbon that it makes through photosynthesis. And in return, this community acts like a tiny external digestive system, breaking down not just the animal prey, but all the other algae and junk that gets sucked in. It's this incredible partnership that turns the trap from a simple stomach into a super efficient miniature digestive gut. So, when you put it all together, the totally bizarre body, the mind-bending physics of the trap, the symbiotic farming, you start to realize the bladderwort is one of nature's true engineering masterpieces. And it's a blueprint that we are just now starting to learn from. I mean, just look at how it stacks up against the others. The Venus flytrap has its snap trap, the pitcher plant has a passive pitfall trap, prey just falls in, but the bladderwort's hydraulic elastic suction trap, it's operating on a timescale that nothing else in the plant world can even touch. It's in a class all its own. And this is why it matters, even if you're not a botanist. Engineers are now studying the bladderwort's incredible snap-buckling mechanism to design brand new technologies. We're talking about things like ultra-fast microfluidic devices that could sort human cells, or soft robots with grippers that can handle fragile things with amazing speed and care, all inspired by this humble little plant. Ultimately, the bladderwort is perfect proof that some of the most sophisticated, most brilliant engineering on this planet isn't found in a high-tech lab. It's floating quietly in a pond. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible marvels are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to notice?